Hello and welcome to The Villain Was Right, the podcast where we look at movies and TV shows from the villain's perspective and dare to ask, were they really all that bad? I'm your host, Craig Fay.
And I'm your host, Rebecca Reeds.
And this week, something a little special.
Yes. It's our COVID special.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of swept through the network, so we're back to recording remotely here. And as a very special thing, we just kind of let all of our patrons on Patreon choose which movie is going to just slide in the middle of our back to school month, because we have some other great guests lined up for the other stuff, so we didn't want to miss that. And they chose The Goonies,
which I feel like is on theme. That's
Yes.
on theme. It feels back to schooly just because it's like kids going on an adventure. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah, it's good. And this is actually my first time ever seeing The Goonies.
I can't believe that. That's so wild.
Right?
I felt so bad because this is my second time watching it, and I was like, oh no, I'm coming in and I haven't watched this movie enough. And you're like, I've never watched this before.
And it's it's one of those things where it's like everybody growing up, my friends and everything, they had all seen it. It was as people's favorite movie. Even by the time I got to high school and university, people were like, well, The Goonies. Everyone's seen The Goonies. And I was like, I have not. And I don't know why I haven't watched it since then. Why I wasn't just oh, this is iconic, I need to watch this. And so honestly, this was kind of a great excuse to finally watch it. And it fucking slaps. This movie
so
is great.
Good. It's so good. It's so fun. It's you get swept away in the it's like a great kids movie because it's got the right amount of magic to it.
And
but you're still kind of in reality. Yeah, and danger and fun, and all the kids are super cute. It's the best. There's inventions, there's fun. There's
pirates, there's
yes.
It's everything.
It's fun.
It's safe in the town.
It's fun. It's good. Yes.
And man, so our bonus episode that you picked this month is Mac and Me, and I watched these two back to back, and let me tell you the difference. I was like, more happens in the opening title sequence of The Goonies than happens in the entire movie of Mac and Me.
So funny.
I was like, there's a fun car chase in the first 2 minutes of this movie.
No, this movie starts so hot.
Yeah, it's a jailbreak and a car chase in a kid's movie.
You think a man's killed himself?
Yes.
Right? Literally. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, and we should go into the description of the movie, but literally this movie starting with a man being like, oh, you thought I committed suicide. Just kidding. I was like, this is dark. This is starting pretty dark.
The movie starts with a jailhouse suicide attempt. And
fake jailhouse.
Fake. But we see a man hanging in a jail cell, and it gets worse there. So if you are like me and you have not seen The Goonies, that's how it starts. And there's a jailbreak. So that's the Fratelli family, who are I guess they're counterfeiters, is what we learned. That they're just generally bad guys. And it's Mama Fratelli and her two sons, Jake and Francis, and they get Jake out of prison and go on this car chase. But the main thing is there's all these kids. We got Mikey, his brother Brand, Chunk Mouth, and Data are kind of the main group, and then there's Brand's friends, Andy and Steph. Anyway, they all live in this town. I think it's called Goon Bay or something. That's why they're the Goonies.
Yeah.
It feels forced, but whatever.
No, I don't care. It's awesome. The Goonies is a perfect name. I don't care.
So they're basically this friend group, and we learn that basically the town is going to get bulldozed to make a golf course for the country club. And so they're all getting evicted, and they're all going to go to different towns. And unless they can get money to pay the evil country club owner,
their house is getting foreclosed on.
Yeah. But the whole town is. I don't quite
Well,
understand
I think
how
it's
the.
like one at a time. Like we're gonna get you guys one at a time. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so anyway.
Anyway, we'll
Getting to
get into
that.
how that works. But then the kids are kind of goofing around and they find a treasure map in their basement or in their attic that belongs to their dad, who's like this historian. And it's like there's treasure, and they go to where this treasure map tells them, and it's this. It's the basically it's the hideout of these Fratellis who just escaped. So like they're running away and they go down underneath this hideout, and there's like caves in there, and there's all these booby traps, and they find so many corpses uh, of,
They really do.
of like
Like a
skeletons.
lot
Oh,
of
so
skeletons.
they even find just a frozen corpse of a murdered federal agent in the freezer, um, with a bullet hole in him. I was like, there's so many corpses in this movie for children.
So many dead bodies.
So many dead bodies. And anyway, they end up going through these catacombs, and they're fucking up the plumbing in the town, and they're the girls are trying to kiss a brand, and like there's a whole thing there. And the Fratellis like find out where they are. They capture Chunk and are like interrogating him, and they go into the catacombs, and they end up finding this pirate ship that is laid untouched in this cave for hundreds of years, and there's the treasure there, and they get in this big fight, and there's Sloth, who's like the third Fratelli brother, who's been locked up in a chain to the wall, and he helps them out, and they escape, and the booby traps all go off, and they escape with some treasure, and the treasure they can pay for the foreclosure, and they're not going to have to move. And then a fucking pirate ship sails out of this cave on its own into the ether, and the Fratellis get arrested. And like that's kind of the plot of it. It's just
Movie magic.
Movie
It's
magic.
freaking awesome. This movie is awesome. Okay. I too feel like I have not watched this movie enough. I was like, this is a 10. The cuteness is at a 10. Okay, Data, get it done. Are you kidding me? This kid is so cute. I'm dying. I'm freaking dying.
Yeah, a
Like,
young
yes.
Kehu Kwan.
Oh,
yeah.
so freaking cute, man. All of his little inventions, his entrance when he like slams through the freaking screen door. I'm like, this kid's a 10. His little like his shoes that shoot out oil of the back. Like when you meet his dad at the end and he's like,
they all have
you're
gadgets.
my best invention. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
And like
it's too cute. I'm losing it.
Loaded cast too.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Sean Austin is the main character. Mikey, Josh Brolin is the older brother, like Thanos. Yeah, Corey Feldman is Mouth. Like it's a crazy stacked 80s movie. And we will get to who we think the villains of this movie are in a second.
And whether you're right.
Yeah. But first, we want to thank the very special sponsor of this episode, TeePublic. TeePublic.com. That's where you're going to find your next favorite tea. You guys know about TeePublic. It's basically independent artists making cool designs that are mashing up all kinds of fun fandoms and cool designs. You go check it out. It's absolutely some cool stuff. Like it's some of the coolest designs, and you can get it on whatever you want, right? You can get it on t-shirts, you can get it on phone cases, you can get it on notebooks if you want, stickers. Yeah, it's great.
Hell yeah. You want a Goonies Never Say Die t-shirt? They've got you, okay? You want a Villain Was Right t-shirt because you want to wear our logo because you're so cool. Absolutely, we could do that for you. That's not a problem, guys. So head on over to vwrstore.fromsuperheroes.com to check out all of our merch and favorite designs from TeePublic. That's vwrstore.fromsuperheroes.com. And thank you again to TeePublic for your continued support. And now we are going to talk about the villains. It's an 80s movie. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So the obvious one to me right off the bat is the Fratelli family.
Obviously.
Like Mama Fratelli, Jake and Francis,
Of
who,
course.
by the way, just played by absolute legends of villainy. Like the act like Robert Davey and Joe Pantoliano, like the guy from the Matrix who betrays everybody, and like Robert Davey probably has the best resting villain face I've ever seen.
Yes, like literally this. Okay, sorry, I don't know the actor's name. This woman literally grunts when she walks. She's perfection. She's absolute perfection. Okay, she has it just perfect child evil. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Just like exuding villainy. Okay, just upset, grunting, snarling, doing all the things you think a villain should do. Villain, perfect villain, awesome. Okay, she's amazing. And I would like to make in defense, okay, of these men. I would just like to say that I think this woman is actually the true villain, and all of her sons are literally just trying to fight for her affection. They have been abused their whole lives. Okay. They are just trying to win this woman over by any means necessary. They're basically in like a weird little cult with this woman, and she is the ringleader. And honestly, I feel I'm like, oh no. This
So
is the best I could. This is the best I could do, Craig. Okay, this is what
so
I'm
you're
coming in with.
giving the
All right.
brothers kind of the we couldn't help it. We just
Listen. If I'm their lawyer, that's what I'm coming in with. Okay. If I'm these men's lawyer, I'm like,
Ma was the
listen.
ringleader.
Yes, she had one of the brothers tied up. Like
Yeah.
literally. Okay, it felt like they had very little control over the situation.
Absolutely. No, yeah, and you're right. Like you can't you can't say that she didn't abuse her children growing up when one of her children is chained to a wall in a basement somewhere. You go like, yeah, Sloth probably wasn't the only one that was getting like, mistreated here.
Yes. So I just feel like, this woman's been mistreating them their whole lives. Okay.
Right.
And they're trying to survive out in these streets. Okay. I have no problem with somebody. Honestly, I don't know what they did prior to this. I have no problem with you breaking out of jail. I don't.
Yeah.
Jail is
right.
a flawed. The prison system is flawed.
It is. It is. It's
Okay. Now,
yeah.
murder, not behind the murder. I will say that. I'm not going to support the murder.
The murder of federal agents. Like they're
oh my god.
Yeah.
When she is literally holding that small boy's hand in the blender, I was like, oh, like I was just writing it down like, I don't know.
Because part of you is like, this is an 80s movie. They might actually do this.
Yeah, like I'm like, what's the limit? What's the limit in the 80s? Like I'm stressed. I'm stressed out. Okay.
Just the thing where the evil family chops off Chunk's hand as a fun goof. Kids in the 80s love that.
Goof.
Yeah. We love weirdly disturbing violence that we play off as fun, which they do. Like, there's a whole comedic kind of like it's played for laughs where like a Chunk gets stuck in the freezer with this corpse, and the corpse is like falling on him, and he's just like, what's going on? It's like
like for laughs.
Yakety Sax is almost playing in the background. And this movie's just like, isn't it so funny that this child is locked in a freezer with a dead federal agent with a bullet wound in his head? Wow.
I tell you, and then not 2 scenes later, they stick this kid in a trunk with him.
Yeah.
like has this small child not gone through enough? And you're right, it really is played for laughs. The amount of trauma that happens in an hour 40, you're like, oh no.
My favorite line in this movie is, relax, it's just a skeleton. Which, granted, is not the most disturbing corpse that they've come across today. But if I ever get to the point where I'm just like, relax, Rebecca, it's just a skeleton, we have seen too many dead bodies. Like, a skeleton is scary. Like that's why
Yes.
we put them up in Halloween, right? Like they're especially if they're real. Like,
Yes, and there's so many.
oh
I
god,
didn't
yeah.
I didn't count, but there was a lot, you know what I
Well,
mean?
oh, there's a point where they get on the pirate
Although
ship where it's just filled with the pirate skeletons.
okay, correct me on this though. I could be wrong on this, but my general feeling is once I've seen one, seeing 100 might not make a huge difference. I don't know. Is that insane? Is that a crazy statement? It
I
might be.
don't think that's the craziest thing.
Like, I
Like,
don't think it's I don't think it's good to see more, but I think it probably like goes down every time you see a new one where you're like, okay, like by like the 10th one, you're like, all right, I get it. Like
yeah, like like there definitely is like, morticians, funeral directors, like
oh,
they
okay,
see dead
man.
bodies all the time. That's
Yeah.
their job. They're certainly desensitized to it. I'm sure like people in the medical profession.
Mhm.
Um I'm not sure that that translates to children in one day. Like,
Well, that's
you
probably a good
know?
point. That's probably a good point.
Like, I'm not sure you're like, hi, and I also don't think it applies to stumbling across a body, right? Like, I think if you are a professional who is expecting to see and interact with dead bodies, I think that's one thing. I think if you're a
Okay.
child that stumbles across a cave of corpses, more absolutely means more therapy. Like,
I'm
I
just
think there's a
saying, like, I'm just trying to find some 80s logic, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
think the
I don't
80s
know.
logic is that skeletons aren't bodies, is like they're fun
That's
adventure
actually
things.
really
Yeah.
fair. It's kind of like cartoony almost, where you're just kind of like, "Oh no, like Bugs Bunny got shot, but he's fine because he's Bugs Bunny." Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this isn't a real thing.
Like
I guess
skeletons
that's
or
what.
cartoon violence is kind of the thing.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Like,
I
it's
know, I
kind of
get that.
funny that we have
Although
bones when you think about it.
I think
Uh,
that's why the murdered federal agent is so jarring. Like, it's so freaking jarring. I also love that our patrons are like, yeah, you gotta defend these murderers. Get in there.
yes.
Oh man, you guys always come in with the heat. I love it.
So, I guess my defense would be, of this family is that she's just trying to keep the family together. You know what I mean? Like,
I
she's
love that
just
you went the opposite way that I went.
oh,
I was like, this
yeah.
woman's horrible, and these men are just trying their best, which is normally not my opinion.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah, they clearly the economy in this town is bad.
Oh, buddy,
There's
did I not
some
clock? Firstly, okay, when they pull up the fucking thing with the family, it literally says as one of the title, like one of the headlines is unemployment up. And I was like, of course these people have to turn to crime. Okay, unemployment's up. What can they do? People are getting foreclosed on because of these rich motherfuckers. Actually, I'm sorry, before we get into your defense here, I would just like to say very briefly, okay. Obviously I am not pro golf course. I am not pro rich people. Okay, I'm not. Okay. I hate these motherfuckers. I don't like them. Okay. But I will say this. Okay. Living in Toronto in 2023, I gotta tell you, I have like almost zero sympathy for a dad that's getting their house foreclosed on in the 80s. You're telling me you can't scrape together $10? What is happening? What's happening? Okay. How much could your mortgage be? Okay, like you're fine.
yeah.
You get a minimum wage job and you will slam dunk this. Okay. You will be done in 5 years. What are you talking about? Their dad is the worst. When they find, first of all, the worst looking jewels I've ever, I would get those appraised. I would maybe get those
Yeah,
appraised before I'd start ripping up contracts.
that's
Okay,
not
like,
immediately exchangeable for your mortgage.
I don't think so. Like, I actually don't think that's how jewels
Like,
work.
if I was that guy, I'd be like, "That's great. You owe me money."
Yeah.
Like you can't come and pay your mortgage with a dozen chickens. Like I understand that those things have value, but you
No.
need to convert that into money. That's how the economy works.
Yeah, I just don't think, I don't I have very little sympathy. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna argue too that that town absolutely should be torn down, um, because oh, these kids go into catacombs that literally run underneath
Sorry.
the whole town. We see it like because they go to the wishing well, which is just an open hole down into
Okay.
these catacombs. Um, they start banging on pipes trying to find, and they cause like a catastrophe in the town. Like people are getting like
This is
water
valid.
shot into their faces and everything like that. Like whatever this town was is they just built it on top of incredibly unstable ground. They just ran pipes through like random caves that yeah, are a kid's bang away from like causing a catastrophe. Like I don't think they're being foreclosed on. I think that they're being bought out because everything here is about to fall into the ocean.
Dude, that's such a good point.
Right?
You're right. They cause very real damage very quickly by just moving these pipes, which is also a hilarious thought because that means somebody's been down there and saw all those skeletons and they're like, "Listen, I don't get paid enough to deal with this, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna slap these things up and keep going, man. I don't care."
I'm just the water guy.
I'm just the
Uh
water guy. Oh, also, while we're down here, this wasn't in the plumber's manual, but you gotta watch out for these booby traps, okay? Because they are everywhere.
I I think the guy because there's the guy from the 30s, right? Like the 1930s who like
Okay, yeah.
said that he found the treasure and they find his
Mm,
corpse because of course they do.
yes, because this is an 80s children's movie.
Yes. And I think here a fan theory here. I think he is the plumber that set all this up. I think he was down there doing the pipes for the town in the 1930s and got himself killed by booby traps. And
But everything worked, he was finished. He got
everything,
they were
yeah,
like,
exactly. He's like, day's done, wiping the
yeah.
solder off his hands and walking out, and then he gets crushed by some rock, you know?
And
Like,
somebody's like, "Listen, if we find him, we have to pay him, so let's just not look for him." That'd be great.
yeah,
Let's not find
the,
this man.
the water turned on, and then the guy
Yeah.
never came to get paid.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't ask any questions. Don't tell no lies, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah. Yeah, this town deserves to be sunk into the sea, and all these people should
Deserves. I like
deserve.
it. Deserves. You
Deserves.
shitty. You shitty kids.
You're shitty kids. No, they're pretty awesome kids. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
I
they're
wish I was.
awesome. They're
Yeah,
so cool. I love kids that invent.
yeah.
Okay? I love that. I love the imagination. I love the little, I love the squat, you know what I mean? Just like the little fighting, the nothingness fighting where you're just
Oh,
kind of like all yelling at each other a little bit. That's the best.
you're
More of
talking
that.
over each other because that's what kids actually do. Like
Mhm.
that's what this movie does so well. Is it's just like, yeah, this is what kids act like, and it's like obviously heightened because like kids don't go into caves, kids, but like
Oh,
but it's like let's go on an adventure, let's go ride bikes, let's
and buddy, I gotta tell you, watching this and watching Mac and Me, I was like, these kids are acting their ass off. I was like, they're nailing this, man.
oh
Because like
yeah.
when you're watching Mac and Me, some of those scenes, you're like, oh no. Oh no. Like I get why you can't do it because you're looking at these creatures that don't look like anything. Anyway, sorry, I
But yeah, no,
gotta
absolutely. This is night and day. This is like the Spielberg touch, right? Like Spielberg
Oh
wrote this,
yeah.
right? Didn't direct it, but you're like, oh yeah, no, kids are gonna run around and say shit and like get in
Just like
trouble and
even the
like
way they open the gates, like the gate, like that whole like the whole machine. I
I yeah, I
I
I,
want
I
that
love
poured
it.
on everything.
I love that little thing, but wow, so impractical. Like
Oh yeah, but that's
their
what the
Rube
beauty of
Gold
it.
The Rube Goldberg machine, they have to open the front gate for their friend. Depends on a balloon exploding and scaring a chicken enough to lay an egg. Like,
Hell yeah.
that's gotta be
Or you gotta go to
the
the gate
failure.
and open it.
Yeah. And now they've got to go and reset the balls and reset the balloon so it blows up. I was like, I as a mechanical engineer, I'm gonna call the chicken laying the egg the failure point of this machine.
Listen.
You can't depend on that reliably. Like, what's the reload time on a chicken? Like a day?
Yeah. But I
often-
will say, as a lover of fresh eggs, could not be more thrilled. Oh man, I love fresh
I've
egg.
ever had a fresh egg now that you mention it.
Oh, but like really, it's not even. I don't know.
Like
What's
warm
okay.
right from the chicken's ass.
Well, no, but it's more like it's more like it has to do with like the yolk, like how like good it looks, and it's like so orange and like just oh my god, it tastes so good. And the yolk's always so much bigger. It just like it looks so much better than when you buy them at the grocery store. Like if you can get your hands on like some farm fresh where these chickens have been like walking around eating stuff, like man, a lot. Anyway, sorry, I gotta stop. I'm a lover of eggs.
No,
I don't know.
enough.
It's like a thing. I even brought it up with somebody and they were like, actually, yeah, one time you talked to me for 30 minutes about eggs. I was like, oh no. I'm circling back around on people. Like, that's not good. I've talked about eggs too much.
That's your passion. That's your you get Rebecca going. She'll talk about eggs for a while.
I fucking love a fresh egg, you know what I mean?
There's brown eggs and goose eggs. You're like Forrest Gump with shrimp, but eggs.
Yes.
I guess Bubba, Bubba, from Forrest Gump with eggs. Yeah. So yeah, all this to say, I think that town is shit, and that like the rich guys.
I did not expect you to come up with that, but that's good. I like it.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're rich, and we're going to buy everybody out from their house so that you can afford to move somewhere else because the town is literally collapsing into the sea, and it's not. It's so in that regard, it's kind of a generous thing that these country club people are doing, right? They're like, we are the richest people in town, and we are going to buy up all of your houses so that you can afford to move away. And because no one else will buy them because they're going to slide into the sea. You know, like there's zero value in those houses right now because probably the federal government is like, you cannot sell these to other people.
I gotta tell, I love that you're saying it because I think I would choke on every single thing you just said. So thank you for doing that because I don't think I would be able to get that out. They're doing them a service.
The town is sliding into the sea. What do you?
I will agree with you that town is falling apart.
No.
The pipes, everything, buddy. That's so funny. I didn't think of that at all. Yeah, I fucking love that.
We have bare copper pipes just hanging out underground in an incredibly humid environment. Like this plumbing system has maybe 6 months left. Like it's corroded to hell. Like absolutely not.
Yeah, you get to keep your house, but now you have to use an outhouse for all of time. So.
Yeah, you'll have no running water ever again. Just take the money and like I'm gonna be real mean here. I'm sorry, kids. You'll make new friends. You'll move to a new school and you'll make cool friends. Will it be as cool a friend as Data, who has fucking oil in his shoes and a jabbermouth rappel gun? Like, no.
Probably not.
But you'll make new friends.
You will find that one friend that lies about everything, though.
Yeah,
that is consistent in every school, in every group. There's always somebody that's just a huge liar. And they're my favorite person. I love it. I think it's so fun. Because it's always so freaking over the top that it's just fun to listen. Like it's like I've been rewatching The In-Betweeners, and it's like, yeah, like there's that one guy in the friend group that's just like, literally nobody on this planet is doing the things you say you're doing. It's brilliant to watch you spin a web. Like I want to watch it all day. I love talking to liars. They're so funny. When you know a liar's a liar, it's the best. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When they're not, when like they're such liars that there's no way that they're ever gonna pull something over on you.
It's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like we know a few of these people. Okay, like and they're doing it for jokes or they're going to see who they can get. Like basically like they're like, "Ha, I got you. You're so gullible." And it's like, "I'm gullible because I believed you?" Like
Because we
because I trusted you. That makes me gullible. That's such a funny message to send to people. Like, you're such an idiot. You trusted me. I'm a goblin. Like,
yeah. Especially when it's a lie about something that like you're like, okay, like I got this
yeah.
job, and you're like, oh, good for you. Like, good.
Yes.
Why would you lie to me about that? Why would I be invested? It's like, oh, you believe me? It's like, yeah, because
Yeah.
you're employable. Like, what? What?
Like we're friends, and I think you could do that. Like,
Yeah. I believe in you, like, and fuck
yeah.
me. All right, all right.
I
Yeah, some
love
of
it.
these lies though in this movie were great because Chunk is the big liar, right? Where he's
Yes.
like, like, is this like that time that you said Michael Jackson came over to your house to use your bathroom? It's like that's he's like, no, I'm serious.
It was her
this time."
sister.
It was her
It was
sister. Yeah, it was Janet. Yeah. And you go like, that's a pretty good one. I also must say I do love the interrogation scene where he just immediately gives up everything he's done ever and they still don't believe him. And like
Yes.
the things that he's going through are so funny. Where he's just like, yeah, the one time I got fake puke and we went to the theater and I went up to the top of the theater and I made this noise and threw it over and then everybody got sick and it was everyone kept throwing up and it was the worst smell I've ever heard. And like I was like, good on that kid for just like delivering those lines. Like
Oh, that
crazy.
kid was nailing that. I
Yeah.
was like, "That's so funny." I love that these bad guys are like, "Hey, we kind of like this kid now. He's funny. Like he kind of does bad stuff like we
He's
do.
kind
We
of a
like
bad
that."
kid. Yeah.
Oh my god, no, him describing that puking, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a bad like this kid's been up to some shit."
And
I actually okay, one time this is just like such a side note. But one time I was so like my friend's brother, we're driving back from Ottawa. Okay, and he had gotten like hammered the night before, like
oh, I don't
hammered.
like where this is going.
Oh, no, of course not. No, no, no. Not that this story has jogged my memory. Of course not. We're not going to a good place, Craig. Okay, so we're sitting in the back of this car and he's just going over like what happened yesterday. Like it was a real whirlwind. You know what I mean? Like one of those, and I'm not gonna get into every detail of this story, but it was like it was crazy, right? Like this guy had a black eye. Like he's like it was crazy. Okay. Anyway, and he goes, "Oh no." He goes, "Oh, I actually puked on a lady last night." And I was like, "No, you did not." And he goes, "Well, like I was really high up." And I was like, "I don't think that makes it better." He was like, "So it's
So
kind of like
much worse.
right. Oh my god." And he goes, "Well, I don't think a lot got on her." I was like, "Buddy, like," and this was like in the middle of COVID. Like we're still getting COVID, obviously. Like, so this was like, and I was like, "Buddy, like we're in a pandemic." I was like, "She didn't go to work today. Like, what are you talking about?" Like, I was like, "This is horrible." But he was just trying to like rationalize with himself that it wasn't that bad. And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. This is that bad. This is bad." Okay.
That is, yeah.
I need to tell you this is really bad. Like,
I
it's fucked.
I'm just realizing this now, but puke is absolutely worse the more energy it has.
Oh,
You know, like the faster it's moving or the higher up it's coming from, like
oh my
there's
god.
like it's bad.
I watched a woman once projectile down a full hallway. I have never seen
Yeah.
anything like it in my life. Like it moved.
Yeah.
It
And that's so
moved.
much worse than just a little pile of it somewhere on the sidewalk, you know?
Oh, buddy, that
So
story
bad.
was sending me. I was like, "No, not these." And it's like,
Not
yeah,
the
of course.
no, no,
No,
no.
no, no. If somebody threw up on me, I'd probably throw up. Like, I just got to be honest with you. Like, I would
It's
maybe
not
get
good.
that in the mix.
It's not good.
Anyway.
But I do want to defend Chunk a little bit because I think
Oh, okay,
Chunk
yeah.
gets I think he's sort of viewed as the naysayer or the hesitant one a lot in this, right? Where they're like, "Come on, we're going on an adventure," and he's like, "It's getting dark. It's dinner time. Let's go home.
He's
Let's
right.
not do
Yeah.
this." He is absolutely right. I'm sorry. Like he also discovers that the car in the garage of the hideout has bullet holes in it.
That's
They're
true.
watching these people load a body into the back of the car and leave. And he's like, let's not do this. Let's leave. These kids almost die so many times.
That is so
Um,
true.
you
And
know,
the leader's just like, "But no, we've got spirit. We're meant to be here.
we
I
can do
believe."
it.
Yeah. I could feel it in my gut. Like, "Let's go." And
It's an
it's like,
adventure. We
that's
gotta
so
save the
funny, yeah.
town. Like, no.
No, and I very much wrote that down for the like the girl's best friend, where I'm like, yes, when she's like, I feel like I'm babysitting and I'm not getting paid. Yes, yes, turn around, leave,
Oh
do not
yeah.
do this. Okay, somebody
She
stepped on your glasses. You are in problem times.
yeah. That's a bad night. Done. Someone steps on your glass. Like you go and hang out in a parking lot with your friends and
Hmm.
someone steps on your glasses, that's a bad night. You're like your night's ruined. Add on top of that corpses and booby
Yes,
traps. No, fuck it. And all the she is one of the true victims of this
she
because
really is.
she is riding or dying with her best friend here. As she's like literally from one cute boy to the next.
Yes.
Like they're riding in the car with I think Troy is it kind of the romantic
Ew,
rival.
and he's such a classic gross 80s pervert.
Yeah.
Just an 80s pervert all around. Like, the concept of moving your mirror so you can, like, see down a girl's shirt or see up her shirt, like, I'm like, "This is so like, there's no finesse." Okay? It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's horrible, okay? This man is indefensible. I do not like him. He's like, "I'm gonna go all the way." Like, that's kind of I'm like, I kind of I'm like, I get that guy, whatever, where you're like a teen and you just have to pretend that things are going better than they are for you. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of understand that, but everything else surrounding this man, I hate. Yuck. No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think if you're throwing coins in a wishing well hoping to get laid, I think maybe, take a step back, reevaluate your approach. Maybe,
If you're throwing in front of your bros, you're like,
yeah.
"Oh man, hand me another coin, bro. I tried. I'm wishing on some pussy right now. I need that. I need that extra change." That's so I didn't even clock that. That's so funny. You
Yeah.
are right. He
Like
is wishing on a pussy right now. Like, he is just flipping coin in
yeah.
front of his bros. That's so funny.
And I don't want to like stereotype or gender role here or whatever, but like a wishing well is not a macho thing, right? Like you don't
I
see
don't
Arnold
know.
Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone being like, "I wish upon a star," and like throwing things.
I really do want to watch those two men now wish, like, just make wishes and throw them into a well.
Yeah,
That'd be a great scene. Let's get that
yeah,
in the Expendables, you know what I mean? Next one.
absolutely. Just
Let's just
charm
put
me.
that energy out there.
Like I wish I may, I wish I might. The first star I see tonight.
Yeah, there's gotta be a little
With
limerick or something with it.
that thick Austrian accent. Hell yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I do feel like that Troy guy is almost there exclusively to get his comeuppance. Like
Mhm.
it's like especially when the coin shoots out of like they throw the coin back at him through the wishing well. Um,
Perfect.
when the girls leave him to go like hang out with the older brother and like good on him. Like that girl is just going after what she wants. She's like, Troy's a fucking perv. I don't like him. I'm gonna go
Yes.
into this weird haunted house cave system just so I can make out with this cute boy.
He's also, like, super dangerous too, like, when he's holding on to the big brother and just, like, with the car, I'm like, with his little trike, I'm like,
oh
"No!"
yeah, and they're like,
It's a
all right,
great scene, but it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, just
That's
him
crazy.
having to ride this tiny little bike because his
He
brothers
steals off of a small girl.
because his brothers tie him up with his exercise equipment. Like, oh, and like that's the other thing I do really like about this movie is it does feel like there's some love between the brothers.
Mhm.
Like they get on each other's nerves, but they're also like friends and like they hug each other when it's like, oh, I guess we're gonna lose the house and we got to move away. Like there is that. There is at no point where I'm just like, why do you care? Like, why are you stealing a girl's bike to like chase down your brother because he left? Right? I understand. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I am supposed to be taking care of these kids. I do have to go and do that. But yeah, all this is I'm gonna go back to it. Chunk, absolutely right. And nobody should have. Everyone should have heeded his warnings throughout this entire thing. Yeah,
Oh,
especially
anybody saying don't do this is correct.
this is
Don't
child
go
endangerment.
try and die because your dad can't get it together. Okay? Also, no offense, but, like, if I went through that whole thing and we got out there and they were all like, "Wow, we actually left with some jewels," I'd be like, "Bitch, one of those is mine, actually." Okay, like, you can't spend that all on your own house. I'm gonna require one of those as payment for almost dying 16 times.
So many times. So many
Like, I
times.
I I need it, okay? I need some of this a little bit of cash, I think. I think just to soothe my wounds, okay? Just for therapy. Just for a therapist, I need somebody to pay for this.
Yeah, also all the treasure is still in the ship, right? Like
Yeah.
the treasure doesn't go away. I can't believe that they're just like, well, that's that 100-year-old, hundreds of year old sailing ship is just gonna sail itself out to sea. Like, call the Coast Guard. Somebody, like, you can't just like let that shit. You even as an archaeological artifact, you know how valuable that is? Like a
Yes.
pristine 17th century
Mhm.
sailing pirate ship. Great. That in itself is worth the whole town.
Well, yeah, but the town needed to know that the house was saved. We're not really
Yeah.
paying attention. Like, we all have to yell and scream when the contract's ripped up.
Part of me
Oh
is
my
like,
god.
oh, by the way, now your town is built on an active archaeological site. Sorry, everybody, you got to move out. Like, this is a World Heritage site now. This
Dude, you know
is
what kills me? How many kids' movies end with some sort of like legal loophole or something where they're like, we're in court or we're not signing this contract. Or like, or apparently in Macamee, here's your citizen's test. Like, why does this always get tied up? It's so funny
you
how
know
many
what
kids'
kids
movies are like,
love? Contract law. More contract law in our children's movies, please.
oh man, it just kills me how
Less
often
pirates,
that
more
ends that
contracts.
way. Yes, well, I
Yeah.
think that's why we needed the pirate ship floating out because I don't think like ripping up a contract necessarily has the same punch
Yeah.
as like, okay, sick, we get to watch a pirate ship float off. Like
And
that's
Sloth be
pretty
like,
cool.
"Hey, you guys."
Oh, that's
Poor
so
Sloth.
good.
Yeah,
Oh.
Sloth is also another huge victim here. It's
Oh, he really is.
yeah, but and he seems like a fairly nice guy. Like
Yeah.
he they sort of chain him up under the like and this is absolutely no way right. We should never chain anybody up in a basement. But like that he's dangerous or uncontrollable or does not have the mental facilities, let's say, to like control his behavior or anything like that. Is kind of how they present it. And then as soon as he's out, he's like communicating clearly with
Yeah.
Chunk. Like he's like, "Hey, we're friends. I love you." Great. He's in great shape. He like is lifting up rocks and everything like that. Clearly has a very strong idea of morality because he knows that he has been mistreated by his mother and his brothers, right?
But I
Turns on
also
them
think that's
immediately.
why he's chained up. Probably because he would stop their crimes.
He's the moral center
Yes,
of yeah.
of that family. They're like, "No, no, no, we can't." The mother's like, "We can't have this guy running around with us because he's nice." Okay. He's going to
Yeah.
intervene in my wrongdoings.
Yes, he's
Okay. Also, this guy, food motivated, and that's something I fully understand. Nothing motivates me more than food. Okay. Absolutely. I think, yeah, I think if you presented me with a chocolate bar, I would get out of the chains. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, I fucking love chocolate.
yeah.
Okay, I'll
I
do it.
just
I
had no
understand
reason
that.
to get out of the chains before. Now I
Yeah, but
do.
now there's chocolate.
Like, now I'm motivated. Let's do it. I
No,
love
no,
the
no.
idea though of like Sloth being the philosopher of the group, of being like, do unto others as you want to do unto yourselves. Like
I also love that Chuck's like, "Oh, you're gonna come live with me now. I love you." And I'm like, I think maybe you gotta check with your mom first. Like, that's I love you. It's such a cute scene, though. I'm not mad. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
funny. Oh my god,
Cause
this
because
movie is any hole I've punched in. This movie is a 10 out of 10. Okay, I love it. It's so good.
absolutely. I'm also gonna say, as a final defense of that family,
Mm.
Um, sorry, 2 points. One, they didn't kill the kids right away. You got to give them credit for that, right? They try and pass it off as like this is just a
They
restaurant,
didn't kill the kids right away.
right? That's in the plus column. Yes, we're murderers, but we didn't kill the kids right away.
You're so you sound like a girlfriend trying to defend her terrible boyfriend. Like,
That's
but like he never actually hit me. He just threatened to a lot. And
yeah,
you're like, oh no.
yeah.
Oh no.
It's not like attempted murder is a crime. Uh, you gotta follow through for it to be a
Oh,
crime, right?
oh
The other thing I will say is, and I'd really like your take on this: is counterfeiting really a crime?
oh, the count. Oh, okay.
Because like that's really the criminal endeavor that they're doing that gets out of hand with federal agents showing up and needing to be murdered and kids
Okay.
figuring out that. Like that's the
Yeah,
main.
I'm pretty chill on the counterfeiting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty chill on that. Like, meh.
Yeah. Who are you
Yeah.
hurting? Uncle Sam? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I don't
who
know.
cares?
I'm
Who
not
cares?
smart enough to know that that would be a big problem. I don't know. I don't know the economics on it.
And maybe they're
Um,
trying to print money to save the town, right?
I don't know if that's their general vibe. I will say, I think we're reaching a bit. I appreciate it.
Yes,
I love
I
where
am
your head's
reaching.
at. Yes.
I am trying so hard to stick to the premise of this podcast.
I know it's so
for
hard with these
absolutely
villains.
indefensible villains, like
Yeah,
80s
yeah.
cartoon villains. Like, cannot
They
make a
really
better,
are.
more reprehensible villain
Yes.
than these three. I will say I do love the we talked about this on our last episode on the Babysitters Club. This
Mhm.
is the classic smart and two dumbs villain trope, where Ma's in charge and the two
Oh,
sons are dumb.
yes. Mhm.
Excellent.
Oh,
Give it to me every time.
chef's kiss.
Plays
Love that
so
it's a
well.
trope. I've got no problem with it. I will watch that. Yes, I will watch that anywhere. I love that.
When the two brothers go out on that beam and they both fall and hit their nuts, like, great. And the mom's just
Yeah.
like, you idiots. It's like classic. More of that.
Yes, I want more fist shaking, more grunting, more It's perfect. Okay, you sound like you're stalking. It's awesome. I love it. 10 out of 10. No notes. Except for they're not good. You know what I mean? Well, actually,
Yeah.
speaking of, perhaps we should jump into our scales right now.
Yeah.
Craig, what do you got for us?
So I've got the finding a dead body scale.
Very
'Cause
on brand with
so
this
many
movie.
of them.
Perfect.
So on a scale of dried out skeleton to frozen federal agent, I'm giving the Fratellis, the family, the whole family,
Mhm.
a drowning victim washed up on the beach. They're bad. They're real bad. It's
Yes.
not good. Not
Okay,
good.
yeah, I've got the bad parenting scale. So from a good parent for like no snacks before dinner, you know what I mean? Good parenting all the way to literally calling your children bad names. Okay, that's pretty bad. I'm actually going to give this woman I'm going to jump outside the scale and say she left her kids in the car. This is not good. It's a hot thing. Okay, didn't roll down a window. This is bad. These are bad people.
We need some intervention here.
Yes, we need someone to intervene. Please and thank you. This is so bad. Very, very bad. And guys, before we get to our heroes and villains of the week, as always, there's a couple ways you can help out the podcast. If you would like to follow us, you can follow us on Facebook at Villain Was Right. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Villain Was Right. If you want to see our faces, we're doing this you can see my bedroom. You see that I have a shopping problem behind me. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at VWR Podcast. And if you would like to email us, you can email us at villainwasright@gmail.com if you would like to send us your suggestions or maybe your bad movie suggestions for me, because we're covering Mac and Me on our Patreon. And speaking of Patreon...
Yeah, if you're on Patreon, we are as well. Patreon.com/thevillainwasright. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you get great benefits from the artists that you choose to support, and hopefully that's us. And you get some great benefits in return. For us, like at our highest tier, $7 a month gets you 2 bonus episodes every month, which you heard Rebecca talking about. I pick one, Rebecca picks one. Right now, she's on a terrible movie tear. So the last couple months, we've done like The Room, we've done Troll 2. This month, you're making me watch Mac and Me, and I'm trying to now just pick some decent movies. We covered Rambo
just to balance
First Blood.
It out.
Yeah, sticking with our bit of an 80s theme early this month. We did Rambo First Blood, the first Rambo movie. So you can check that out. We also have audience choice. So next week is our regular audience choice episode where our patrons voted, and we're covering Dear Evan Hansen, which is going to be just a treat for that. So if you want your say in what we cover, you can head on over to patreon.com/thevillainwasright. And thank you to everyone who's already on Patreon, and thank you for your support, and thanks for telling your friends about us. We really appreciate it. And now it is time for our heroes and villains of the week. What do you got for us, Rebecca?
Okay, so this week I've got this one. Okay. So I have a hero of the week. I absolutely adore this woman, and I've never met her, which is kind of funny. So I thrift a lot. So I was at the Salvation Army, and they had a better sewing machine than the one I have, and it was on for like $60. And I was like, absolutely, if I take this home and it works, this is a absolute steal. So I take it home. It works perfectly. It's just like I used to have I had a beginner machine, and this one's just got more advanced options on it. So I decided, I'm like, okay, perfect. This one works. I'm going to sell this other one for basically what I paid for this new one. That's awesome, right? Upgrade. So I'm selling it on Marketplace, and this woman starts messaging me. And I can tell, like, you can just tell, like, English is her second language. Like, the language is a little off, but I can completely tell what she's asking me and telling me. So it's not a problem. It doesn't matter. So we're kind of going down with it. She's asking me a couple of questions. And she says she's going to send her husband over, and like, she doesn't even negotiate with me on price, which I freaking love. I'm like, that's awesome. Anyway, so we get down to it. She's sending her husband over. She says so then she sends me this message. She says, oh, I'm so sorry if my English sounds off. I'm new to the country and I'm using a translator. I don't speak English. Like, I'm using a translating service for this. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, no problem. Everything you're saying makes sense. Like, don't worry about it. No problem, right? And then she asked me the fucking funniest I laughed for 5 minutes when she asked me this, because I knew exactly what she was talking about, but the way it was worded was so funny. She asked me, she goes, does your machine take the thickness? And I fucking died. I was like, that's the funniest way to ask me that question. And I know what she means. She means, can you run denim through it? Can you use thicker material? Like, will the machine handle that? But does the machine take the thickness? Is the fucking... I've said that. Like, this happened like 3 weeks ago. We've been quoting that in my house since she said it. I think it's the funniest fucking thing. She was so nice too. Like, I was literally like, she was like, oh, I hope it works okay. And I was like, girl, if this machine doesn't work exactly the way you want it, I will absolutely give you your money back. It was worth every penny to hear that line.
Thickness.
The thickness. Does your machine take the thickness?
It sounds like the worst pickup line, right? Like,
oh my god, I know. It's my favorite thing ever. It's just, it sounds disgusting and it's beautiful, and I love it so much, and I will quote it for the rest of my fucking life. Oh, anyway, that woman is my absolute 10 out of 10 hero of the week. She is awesome. Oh my god, I hope you stay. Like, I just hope you stay. That's all I'm saying. You're the best. That's fucking awesome. Anyway, what do you got for us, Craig?
So I've got a villain this week, and as some of you may know, I have sort of very recently started to post things on TikTok. Craig Fake
Yes.
Comedy there, if you want to check this out, and like for a long time I resisted it because I was just like, oh, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I don't want to like do this. And then I just said to myself, no, you know what? I'm going to go on here and I'm just going to like talk about the things that I want to talk about and just be like authentically me and talk about weird science stuff and all the rest. So I'm doing that and like it's going over well. And then the other day I get this comment on one of my videos about the periodic table, where the guy
Not the periodic table.
Yeah, I was like, it was like an opinion piece on the periodic table. And
oh, well, now I have to go watch that because that's I'm sorry, Jess, that as a statement, it was an opinion piece on the periodic table.
And movies.
No, but I love it already. Okay, continue.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's awesome. It's like if you've listened to the podcast, you know that's like peak Craig Fay.
Yes. Okay. Perfection. We love it. Yes.
And the comment I get on this is this guy's glasses are too shiny. They're too reflective. He must not wear them all the time. He's a poser. And this guy's basically calling me a fake nerd because my glasses are too shiny. And I was just like, that is the funniest and weirdest thing in the world, where you're like, oh, this guy who's talking about the periodic table and is clearly not a real nerd because his glasses are too shiny. He's putting on, and like, am I a little upset that my glasses are so stereotypically nerdy that like you don't believe them? Yes, that does upset me a little bit. Maybe I should change. I just bought new glasses too in the same style as my old ones because I was like, why
mess with perfection?
Yeah, why mess with it?
Come on.
And I was just like, that is the funniest fucking thing. And I know, like, women who like identify as nerds are called this all the time, like, oh, that's a fake nerd, because they, oh, you just like Star Wars because like you think it's cool. It's like, but you don't really like Star Wars. It has never happened to me because I talking about weird science shit. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, it's just like the funniest and weirdest.
I love that so much. That's so funny, man. That's like, that's like somebody treated you like a woman on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if you like it so much, give me their top 5 songs.
Yeah.
Like, what do you? If you like baseball so much, like, it's like, what, dude?
You know the periodic table? Name the first 118 elements. Like,
yeah, like what, bro? This guy's clearly a poser. Those glasses are too clean. That's the funniest.
Oh, ridiculous!
Oh my god, that's
ridiculous.
So fucking funny.
So that's my villain of the week. Just a absolute weirdo on the internet.
I love when it's crazy though. When it's crazy, it's fun. Cause I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna do something fun with this. You're not here. That's really great. Oh man. Also, like, even if that was true, like, how much of a gotcha is that?
I put on glasses to be slightly more credible? Like, what? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, guys, well, that has been us. As always, if you would like to follow me, you can follow me at Rebecca Reads on any platform of your choosing.
And you can follow me at Craig Fake Comedy on TikTok. Why not? Go do that, or on every other platform. It's Craig Fake Comedy.
Go pile on that comment.
Yeah.
make more comments, actually. If everybody could start commenting on the fact that your glasses look fake, I would actually really like that. That'd be a lot of fun for me. Sorry. No, sorry. I shouldn't say that. That's mean. That's not nice. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, guys, check us out next week. We are doing another audience choice episode, because back to back, why not? We're doing Dear Evan Hansen, which is going to be, we have an incredible guest for that episode. I'm so excited to do that. And guys, this is The Villain Was Right, reminding you to just go home. It's dinner time.
The Villain Was Right is produced by Andrew Ivimey as part of the From Superheroes Network. For more great podcasts like this, as well as webcomics, articles, and so much more, visit FromSuperheroes.com.